All right, guys, today's topic, this is going to be a fun one because we're going to be talking about race. We're going to be talking about racism, and we're going to be talking about ignorant racist comments. This is something that when you run a YouTube channel, specifically my body camera channel, you see a lot of racist comments. And I want to take a moment to point out the ignorance behind them, but I also have an incident where I called out somebody for making an ignorant racist comment, and they doubled down on it, tried to defend themselves by saying that they were a cop with more experience than me, and that I was a walking internal affairs case because I exploded on him and called him names like an ignorant racist. This video is going to be demonetized, I can tell you that already. But some of the things that I see in the comment sections of my YouTube channel, a little bit on Instagram, not as much. I definitely see it on Facebook, are these kind of hidden ways that people talk, or that they throw these racial slurs out there. And I think it's important to point this out because I want everyone to know that I see these and that I don't stand for them, and I delete them as soon as I can. As a matter of fact, I delete and ban everyone that makes these kind of comments. These are kind of the secret racist comments that people are making in our society, or like the woke crowd, if you want to say it. They will call these dog whistles. Now, here's the problem with the dog whistling mantra, or this thing where they're accusing people of dog whistling racist comments, is that they will try to make every single thing that you say about people of an alternate race, they'll try to say, oh, that's just a dog whistle for racism. Like I made a post a while back where I said, hey, I didn't spell your kid's name wrong, you did. Or hey kid, I didn't spell your name wrong, your parents did. And people started attacking me, saying that I was racist for making that comment. You know, that's just stupid. And then when I challenged them on it, they say, well, we know that black people are most commonly naming their kids like creative, interesting names, so you're attacking black people. No, I didn't say anything about black people at all. And the funny thing is, I don't know how many examples I should bring up, but I know of a white guy. His name is Ryzen Kane. That's a white dude. I just had a case with a woman named Stephanie, and she spells her name Stephine, Stephine. It's a white woman. This is not a situation where I'm thinking about black people, but they will say, that's a dog whistle, you're being a racist. You know, they're stretching something that is not racist at all and turning it into a racist comment. The comments that I'm talking about are, one of the big ones is every single time, not every single time, but incredibly often, or with an extreme amount of frequency, if I post a video with black people committing a crime or a weapons offense or something like that, they will say things like, well, that's the 13% being the 13%. The reason they're saying that is because black people make up 13% of the US population. So they're saying, you know, that's a problem for the 13%. They're saying that is a black person problem, that automatically, because they're black, they're criminals. That's the implication that they're making. Another one, and this one is a little bit more hidden. I think a lot of my friends that I've spoken to about this haven't seen it, but I see it because it's a trend. They'll say joggers being joggers. I don't know if they're trying to replace the N-word because of the relative semblance to the N-word that it is. Or, you know, I think what they're doing is they're referring to, I forget that case. Was it in Georgia or North Carolina? Forget the guy's name, where he was in a building that was under construction or something like that, and these two good old boys chased him down and killed him. And his family and his defense was saying he was just out jogging. He wasn't just out jogging, but that's besides the point. Those idiots shouldn't have shot and killed him. But since then, people have been using that as a derogatory way to talk about black people without using the words, because they're using phrases that will not get censored by the YouTube censor. So they'll say it's just joggers being joggers. What are some of the other kind of more low key. I can't think of any others right now, but then all of the ones that are more commonly used. I see these a lot. But one of the things that I want to talk about today specifically is I want to address the 13% comment. And I have a guy who made an absolute ass of himself on my Instagram page by using this exact thing. And apparently he got 6 likes on his comment. I can see them. So when you say that's just the 13%. Okay, so I guess I'll go back to the beginning. You guys can see what's on the screen. You've probably read it by now. But it's a news headline that I screenshotted. Is 5-year-old who fatally shot his baby brother was on cocaine while the dead toddler had marijuana in his system. What a crazy story. This is insanity. They had a baby, a toddler who had ingested marijuana, was shot by a 5-year-old that somehow got his hands on a gun and was high on cocaine at the time. And when I posted this, I made this about like gun control, because like the mayor of my town, and I'm sure of a lot of other people, they're trying to pass these laws requiring you to lock up your guns inside your home, which I don't think they have the authority to do. I think that the Fourth Amendment protects that kind of government invasion. But regardless of the fact, you should keep your weapons in a safe manner. But so I said the answer is not gun control, folks. Our country is broken. There's no other explanation for stuff like this from happening. This is an absolutely broken society. And then I got this dumbass. Motorcycle Recovery Kit is his Instagram page. It leads me to believe that he has like some kind of business or something. I'm blocked now, so I can't pull up his channel or his Instagram page. But when I went to look at it, it didn't look like he posts very often. Like he hasn't been using it for a long period of time. He just uses it to make racist comments on Instagram. So his reply to this story about a 5-year-old who was on cocaine that shot his toddler brother who had marijuana in his system. And I said, society is broken. He says, well, about 13% of our country is broken. So what he's saying is our country isn't broken. It's black people that are broken. Why does he say it's black people that are broken? Because black people are 13% of the population of the United States. I wonder if I can... Oh, see, there's too many damn comments. I replied to him initially and I said, if you're going to be a racist, you can go do that somewhere else. And honestly, the funny thing is my comment was probably flagged by Instagram and taken down. And here is his defense. He said, I said nothing about race. You did. Well, the moment you brought up the 13%, you were bringing up race. This problem that happened in this house, this is not an isolated thing that only happens to black people. And then he said, B, if facts are considered ignorance in your mind, there's nothing I can do for you. He's saying that it's a fact that this stuff happens to black people. If you're truly the type whose only response to someone with an opinion different from yours is to insult them and tell them to go somewhere else, you are entirely unqualified to work in law enforcement. Just my 2 cents with 25 years on the job. So this dumbass comes out and says, this isn't a problem with our culture. This is a problem with 13% of our culture, which this is not a problem with our culture. This is a problem with black people. And when I say that's an ignorant comment, if you're going to do stuff like that, you can go somewhere else. This dumbass thinks that I am entirely unqualified to be a law enforcement officer because I told him to get the fuck off my Instagram page. Because I see somebody that is clearly making racist remarks and I tell them I don't want to be associated with you. I want you off of my page. His response to that is, you shouldn't be a cop. And I'm not going to read all of my responses back to him, but I did say that 13% is clearly about race. And that's when he says, insults and anger tantrums. Thank you for proving my point. you're a walking IA case. Let me tell you about somebody who is a walking IA case. That would be a cop who walks around with the belief that black people are the problem with our society. That if you see a black person, then that is the problem, that you need to address that problem. That is a walking IA case. That is not what we need in law enforcement. I pray to God that he is no longer a police officer. Now, and then he brings up DoJ Statistics, and if you can't be civil, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be civil with somebody that is openly racist. That's just not the kind of person I am. I don't stand for racism. I hate that kind of stuff. I hate ignorant people. I hate people that double down on ignorant comments. Now here is the stuff that he's talking about. And I guess one of the points that I want to make is that talking about race and talking about the racial breakup and the proportions of crime and stuff like that has a place in the discussion, but it's not right here. It's not every time that you see a black person that has something bad to them or does something wrong that you say, well, that happened to them because they are black. Now, the part where these proportions and statistics and everything come up these are points that I often make when people say, police officers disproportionately use deadly force against black people. They'll say that's because officers are racist, or disproportionately use force against black people, or disproportionately arrest black people. These are things that are accusations against the police. And they say, since black people make up 13% of the population and 90% of the prison population, then therefore police officers are racist. That is the leap that they are making. And in defense of, or like while defending against that comment or replying to that comment, I will often bring up statistics about crime. And what I have here, this is a summary of the homicides that occurred in Columbus, Ohio in 2022. This is like the only homicide report that I have 2021 as well, but I can get them from the city of Columbus very easily. I know how to do it. So this is the example that we're going to go over. So in the city of Columbus, in the year 2022, I think I have the number down here. There were 139 homicides that happened in the city of Columbus. It's actually 140. I don't know why they have 139 here. It's 140 somewhere else on the report. But regardless, we'll go with 139 for now. It has the age breakdown and all that other stuff. And then it has the racial breakdown. And this is the breakdown by race. Sorry, I'm just trying to highlight this one little part, and Microsoft doesn't want me to. You guys can see it. You can see where my cursor is, where it says black. So of the 139 homicide victims in the city of Columbus, 100 of them were black. I'm not going to work out the percentage right now. I'm not going to get out my calculator. That is an incredibly high percentage of the population. So that is the victims of violent crime. Black people are the victim of violent crime disproportionately high to the proportion of people that they make up in our society. Also, with 139 victims, 112 of the suspects were also black. This is a problem. This is the reason that police officers are more likely to come in contact with black people. This is the reason that police officers are more likely to have a use of force against a black person. This is one of the biggest reasons that police officers are more likely to use deadly force against black people, is because for some reason there's a cultural problem that has, created an environment where people of that race are more likely to commit violent crime statistically. It's absolutely 100% an undeniable fact. For some reason, 13% of the population commits an unproportional amount of violent crime. That does not mean that every member of that population is going to be a criminal. Do you see the nuance and kind of the way that you have to look at this stuff? I don't know what percentage of the black population is committing these crimes. I'm going to assume it's very small. So if you're interacting with a black person, the chances are that they're a violent criminal is very low. But people like this guy right here want to lump them all together. And that's where you create a problem. The problem is, and this is a problem with statistics across the board, is that people use statistics to make larger assumptions about people, groups of people, this, that, and the other thing. And the thing is that they don't understand statistics and how statistics work and the proper way to analyze those statistics. So I don't know. This is just, it's one of those things that really bothers me. He ended up blocking me, so I didn't have to block him. But the only reason I even let his comment stand is because I wanted to screw with him for a while. So he and I went back and forth in the comments for quite some time. And then he eventually left and blocked me. What's this one say? I like reading how stupid he is. And I told him I was going to make a video about him. It says, so more insults from a little guy. I'm a little guy. 225 pounds, squat 500 pounds, bench over 350 pounds, deadlift over 500 pounds. And I'm a little guy. More insults from a little guy with a big gun. Means nothing to me. You're just a barking dog safely behind your Instagram fence. If we were in the same department, this would be a much different interaction, I promise. But you're tucked safely behind your phone. I'm on a computer right now, dumbass. Cops go into the profession for one of two reasons: to protect those who can't protect themselves, or in your case, use that power to mask your weakness. Unfortunately, the rest of us who aren't Instagram cops have to work harder picking up your calls when you're busy policing your comment sections. And to address your liar comment, I know precisely what I said and what I meant. But since there are people like you who get offended by facts that don't align with your fragile views, I decline to spell out what I mean. Personally, I would be embarrassed if I were so insecure I was incapable of allowing others to express their opinions without feeling the need to insult them. But perhaps it's because I'm a bigger man. I understand you can't relate to that later. And then I said, I'm going to make a whole video about you. What an absolute fucking douchebag. If you come on my page making comments that are blatantly racist, I will call you out for them. If you make these comments on my Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channels, I instantly ban and block you. The only reason I had this conversation with him today, on this particular day, is because it was my day off. And I think it was raining. And I felt like toying with someone who is obviously a mental midget. Don't come here with that shit. I don't fucking stand for it. You're an ignorant fucking moron. I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.